So I'm going to tell you a story right now about the 3 days that changed the entire course of my life. And before I go into this story, I'd like to show you guys a video.
What's up? Lopez here at my chateau in France. Just about to head into Paris to tear it up. This is just my summer home, so don't judge it. It's a little small. Just want to walk you through a little bit of it real quick and show you sort of what life can be like when you acquire knowledge. Because I always say knowledge is better than college, right? This guy agrees. What knowledge is better than what?
Everything.
College.
Oh.
Knowledge is better than college. Here are all my servants. My servants are all here. I allowed them to wear normal clothes again today. Say what's up, servants. They're all packing and shit. So here's my dining room. Table's kind of small. Normally I have bigger tables, but like it's cool just for this specific occasion. This guy, what is knowledge better than, bro? Oh, he's what's knowledge better than?
TV room.
Everything. Everything. Knowledge is power, bro. So I want to show you my favorite room, okay? This is super important to me. This is the library, okay? You can see there's a lot of books. I speak French fluently, obviously, because I read a book about how to speak French fluently. Took me about, 6 or 7 minutes to read it. These are a bunch of books. And I don't even use that TV, because TV's for losers, okay? That TV's there to remind me not to use TV. Now, the reason I brought you to this room is because this is my library. This is where I lie about all the books I read, okay? And that's an important lesson for you to take away from all of this. You don't actually have to do stuff. Just get on the internet, tell people about stuff, and lie. And if you read enough books, you can pretend like you're smart. All right? Lopez out.
That was the first, yeah, go ahead. That was the first ever Lopez video. That was the first parody character video. At this point, the only viral video I had done at this point was me drinking toilet water, which went quite viral. I did use a filter, for those of you who are like, what? What? The lifty table. God, we should show people lifty table while we're here. But basically, this video changed my life. And I'll tell you sort of how in a little bit. But what I want to do is go through this with you guys. That took place at a chateau in France. And the 3 days I spent there completely changed the course of my life. And you know, we've talked about this the whole time we've been here. The best investment you can make is in yourself and the people you surround yourself with, right? And I've lived this motto. I really believe that these groups, these events, these type of situations are the things that have the impact on your life much faster than so many other ways. Immersing yourself in an experience. Think how many hours a day you'd have to consume this information in your normal life, and you can come here for 2 days and change the trajectory of everything that happens afterwards. In 2016, I spent $15,000 to attend a 3-day event in France. Now, I want to tell you, $15,000 for me in 2016 was a lot of money. I had just left my job. I had no stability. I didn't know where money was coming from. But I decided, after talking to some of my advisors and people, mentors that I trusted, to invest the money in this thing, which was very uncomfortable. Like, very uncomfortable. $15,000 for 3 days. This wasn't a year-long mastermind or something. This is a 3-day event. And I said, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. If I can't turn this group into money, that's my fault. That's on me. So I went as the poorest person in this room, by far, as well as the youngest person, knowing that I thought and believed I could change my life throughout this. So this is the chateau. Shit's ridiculous. There was an asshole named Jean-Paul Pierre who managed it. He was so French. That's the chateau's property. This shit was ridiculous. I unfortunately can't find any of the actual photos from when I was there other than the video you guys just saw. It's on an old phone. But this place was ridiculous. And spending time at places like this shifts your reality. It shifts your view of what is normal. My normal became a new normal. Normal to me was hanging out with my fucking friends in Austin or living in a little apartment in San Diego. Normal was I still had a job, right? I had my email list on the side, which is a really cool little mini stories. I had this email list on the side. I made $110,000 with my bonus at my job. made $55,000 from an email list of 200 people. My job was, let's say, 30 hours a week. This email list, probably 2 or 3 hours a week. And so I realized the power of building your own list, of learning this skill, and around being the right people. So I ended up at this chateau, and I want to just tell you the crazy shit. I thought about what actually happened from this event. I went and wrote it all down one day, and I was like, holy shit, this one choice, one decision to get on a flight, not including the fact that I had to fly out to France, pay for all that shit, pay for all the other things involved. I realized that this trip changed everything, everything that happened afterward. I spent time there with Alan Baylor of 4 Patriots, Patriot Health Alliance, his company. So the guy who sent me that email that ended up making me $126,000, that was just the first thing I wrote for them. One of the most famous sales letters I wrote was for them. They've paid me literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past few years. Alan Baylor was there. We smoked cigars together in that ridiculous field that you saw. Right around that little brown area, we smoked cigars together. He also introduced me to golf, who not only have we made a bunch of money together, but helped me with my Crohn's disease. There we go. We've made hundreds of thousands of dollars together. We've had a couple of fun times too, haven't we, bud? We've enjoyed ourselves. You drank that one time. I drank all of those times. All these little introductions, all these little things. Mike Geary was there. Actually, Mike Geary was one of the people I called my servant. By the way, Mike Geary was on Tim Ferriss's podcast like 10 years ago for this guy who was making $1 million a month selling ebooks online. I listened to the podcast of Tim Ferriss and Mike Geary. Mike Geary is now one of my closest friends. This is us snowboarding in Utah. Him and I spent 5 days on a mountain trip in Montana with no phones, no shit, just in the backcountry. I've learned more about money and investing and lifestyle from Mike Geary than anybody else. And it was because when we went to France, he actually did not like me. I was a bit douchier pre-therapy. I wasn't everybody's favorite person, a bit of a strong cup of coffee, if you will. Some people like it, some people don't like the jitters, right? That's just true. That's just, oh, Jimmy's there. Look, hey, Jimmy, you're in the middle. You've been pretty useful. Right? Geary, not only has he, I would say that the investing and the different lifestyle stuff and the things that I've learned from him have been worth far more than $50,000, but they've also directly paid me $50,000. My supplement company, Choose Gut Health, they're about to promote our stuff as affiliates, and if that goes well, he's actually probably going to buy that company from me. Again, this is just crazy, weird shit that happened from this event. Ed Scow, that's Ed and I looking like we're related. For sure, right there. He's become one of my closest friends, business partners with Mike. He was in our first Lionheart Pride event, which was a $25,000 a year group. Chris Clark's cousin Andrew Clark. If you guys have been through the promo tab product that we have, we had a $10,000 email copy and deliverability workshop. Andrew Clark and I ran that. Chris Clark and Scott Ruick are the guys who ran this event. Not only just Chris Clark, but Andrew Clark, his cousin, and I made hundreds of thousands of dollars together with our email workshops. They paid me to do with this company Debt Clear, another $35,000 there, again, from this trip to France. Jason Krisky was there. He's the guy who bought my water filter company. He ran what was at the time the fastest growing startup in Canada. That was worth 6 figures to me. That's him and I in Canada. I know, it's pretty, right? It's surprising. Kelowna. By the way, only place I've ever been where the people are nicer than Boise. I was in Kelowna at a bar. I shit you not. This person from behind the bar brings out a tray of cookies, freshly baked warm cookies. And I go, I could eat cookies back then, I could have gluten, right? And I go, what are you guys doing with the cookies? She's like, we just brought them out for the customers. Do they cost money? No, we just bring out freshly baked cookies. I go, just at a bar? Yeah. I'm like, fuck, Canada is crazy, you guys. She's like, would you like one? I'm like, Jesus. So that's another ridiculous thing that happened for me. Steph and Georgie and I, who actually, I was the one, I don't know if golf remembers this, but Golf asked if he could be introduced to Stefan. I was the one who introduced Stefan in Golf. Stefan and Golf started Copy Accelerator. Cam was in Copy Accelerator. Cam and I decided to become business partners, sitting at a little round table like this at a Copy Accelerator event. Also got to fly on private jets because of Stefan, so big respect to him. That baby has experienced more wealth than most of us will ever have, by the way. That baby is super spoiled. That baby has Louis Vuitton shoes, or Gucci, or whatever. They're fucking ridiculous. Stefan as well, we started Freelancer Freedom. We've done a bunch of different stuff together. We've had a bunch of experiences and he's also, again, the cool thing, a lot of these people are literally, these are my closest friends. These are the people who I talk to on the phone on a regular basis. These are the people who, if I need something, these are the people that I call. All from this one choice. There was a guy named Kenny. Fuck, I wish I had the picture. This guy named Kenny who was there. He was the only, it was probably Kenny, me, and Stefan were the poorest there. I was the youngest. Stefan was probably second or third youngest. Kenny was close to my age, and he was just this copywriter guy, kind of a super wild card. We had to carry him out of a bar upstairs in France. He's kind of a big boy. We had to put him into a taxi, and then he went to the hospital later. Won't say his real name. He comes to us and he goes, hey man, I bought tickets to a Jim Jeffries show, which was sold out. He knew that Jim Jeffries was my favorite comic. We go to the Jim Jeffries show. Jim's like, guys, I don't know if you know him. He goes, we're going to be going to the Handlebar after this, if anybody would like to go. And Jim was an alcoholic for a while. Then he stopped drinking, got a bit more boring. He was drinking again. Jim was very drunk when I met him at the bar. And I got to talk to him, ask him some questions about his sets. And the funny thing is David Gonzalez was there, and he took a photo of us, and he's like, I have never seen you nervous. The people have been around me, they're like, I don't really do nervous. He's like, you were like fucking shaking. So I got to meet my favorite comic because of this, again, just random crazy shit that happens. Scott Ruick and Chris Clark are the people who put this event on. They paid me over $25,000 for different things I've written for them. I wrote the from name email, the first ever from your abs. So if you've seen those emails with the weird from names from your abs, your butt, your knees, the future, whatever that is. I created that stuff, writing an email sequence for them. That email made 5 times more money than every other email in their sequence. That one email literally changed the entire health industry. Unfortunately, I was not paid much for that change. There are billion-dollar companies using that exact strategy that was created for them, which happened again because of this choice I made to go to France. If it wasn't for Scott Ruick, Lai Topez may never have been born. So these characters, as stupid as this may sound to you guys, and especially seem stupid to my parents, like, what do you do these stupid people for? Also, my English family will see the bit. My cousin hits me up after first Lai Topez. He's like, are you all right, mate? Stuff okay? Have you lost your fucking mind? What are you doing with these videos on the internet? I think you're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But these characters have led to so many, I literally went overnight. So that first Lai Topez video that you guys saw, posted that while we were in France. I didn't have internet on my phone at the time. I was there, posted in our hotel room, go out for about 6 hours with my buddy John Barry, also become one of my absolute closest friends. He was there, he's the person who I went to France with. John Barry and I get back to the hotel, or he's got his phone while we're out, and he's like, bro, this video is going crazy. I'm like, what? Can I see? And he goes, no. Literally wouldn't let me see what was happening. I've never posted a viral video on my own page or anything like that, right? So I go back, we get back to the hotel about 6 hours later, and it's about 66 notifications on Facebook. This thing's got over 10,000 views, which within our industry, and for me at the time, that was a very big deal. But it wasn't just the amount of views. I had all of the top copywriters, internet marketers, people in the industry who I didn't know, they didn't know me. And overnight, suddenly, these people knew who I was, and they were all like, fuck Tai Lopez, I love this video. Right? So suddenly I had become somebody within this space from this one video. And the reason why I say Scott Ruick, it wouldn't have been born, I was making these dumb videos while I was there. But I had one I really wanted to do, which was about the library. But I was afraid. self-sabotage has been a big part of my life, as it's been for most people's, and mine tends to come up as a fear of success. As I get close to the things I want to find a way to mess them up. I knew this Lytopez video would work, which is why I was so afraid of doing this specific one. I put it off for 3 days. I put off this video. The reason why everybody's in the middle there with their bags and shit is because we were fucking leaving. We were getting on the van. And Scott's like, just do it. Just do it real quick. So I did. I also would like to say that I think I've gotten better looking since then. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Pretty hideous, what I had going on there. That weird beard thing I had. I was trying the Leonidas thing. No, did not look like a Spartan. But if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have done this. This character led to millions of dollars for me. Because so many people, who here found me the first time through a parody video? Wow, way to disprove my normal theory. We got more, they're like, yeah, I don't want to admit it, but I like those videos. A lot of the people, especially over the past few years before this, most of our customers, people in Lionheart who would end up spending $20,000 with us, they saw a video of Lytopez, they saw Muscle Funson or Can't Cardone, you know, shit like that. Whitney came to France as well. So we had been on exactly about one date, sort of a date, not even really a date. I just met her at a bar she was at where she was having to work. And then I was like, hey, would you care to go? I call her, she doesn't pick up, she hates the phone. I text her, she texts me and goes, can't you just do this via text? Let me just tell you, Whitney wasn't a big fan of me. Still kind of wishy-washy on me, to be honest. And she goes, can't you just ask me over text? And I said, it's not really a text thing. She's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Right? And I call and I just go, hey, would you care to go to France? And she was like, what? She's like, are you serious? Do you mean this? And I said, yeah, and this was my honest pitch to her as I go, I don't think I would hate you at the end. It's like, there are other people I could ask, but I don't think I would hate you. And she was like, can I tell you later? I'm like, yeah. And so I said, it's like, we don't have to post any photos on Instagram. We don't have to tell anybody. Just go. We can have fun. We had literally just kissed at this one time. We had kissed. That was it. She ends up coming to France. And then that's the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if you could tell by the tower. But she's still here. She's still around. And Whitney is the one who introduced me to Brent. Brent was my business partner in Lionheart. We made over $1 million together. It's actually more than that. I'm being pretty conservative with these numbers, to be honest. And Brent also dramatically changed my life. The work that I did with Brent, I ended up working with him for 2 years. I essentially got 30 years of therapy in 2 years. I got to spend a ton of time with this person who people rarely get to spend more than a couple days at a time with. I introduced Brent to golf. Golf's life, I know, has changed dramatically from that. Blake, I'm sure there's other people in this room whose lives have been changed by Brent. Even if it wasn't for any of this money, if all that had ever come from this whole event was that I met Brent and I went through the work that he did and it changed my life in the way it did, this would have all been worth it. But Whitney would talk about this guy and he sounded like a fucking wizard. And I was like, okay, I gotta meet this fella. And I showed up an hour late for the first intensive, and Brent was like, is this guy serious? And thank God I went. So all of this happened because this one choice, this one trip. I did the math. This was worth a minimum of $3.15 million to me over the past few years. That is me being conservative. I basically took anything above $1 million, just dropped it down to that. But the question then I asked is, would you pay $15,000 to make $3.15 million? Anybody here have an answer to that question? Just like 3 people said yes. The rest of you are going to be poor for the rest of your lives. That's an equation that I would fuck with all day, every day. And so the reason I told you that whole story is I really believe in investing in events and investing in joining different groups. I spent $100,000 on the 100 Million Mastermind. It's $100,000 for 1 year. I think that the people in the group make the group what it is. I think that's a huge part of it. I think that there are things that could be improved there. Spent $25,000 this year on tip of the spear. I probably spent $160,000 over the last year on my own education on the groups that I've joined. So I'm not just saying this as some bullshit that I think you should do. This is me, eating my own pudding. Is that a phrase? I don't want to say that phrase again. I don't like pudding, and I don't like the way that sounded. Okay. So the reason I've told you all this is because of something called the WolfPack, which is a group that Cam and I have decided to start, which none of you guys know exists, and the only people that know this even exists are the few people on our team. And the reason it's the WolfPack is you guys probably know on some level the story about my dog. I can't tell the whole story because I can already feel it. I'm going to start crying, and I don't want to do all that right now, not before lunch. I don't want to eat after tears. It's a weird rule of mine. But you guys may know that I have a husky who, a few days after I got him, almost died. He had about a 5% chance of surviving. God damn it. I can do this. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but he had about a 5% chance of surviving, and during the time that he was in the hospital, fucking hell, it always happens. It happened a while ago, bro. Get over it, son. It's always whenever I speak, I don't get to see him either. Like, he's been at our house for the past 2 days, so I always get sad. Oh. Can we get the Backstreet Boys music back on up in here? So essentially, my dog almost died. And during the time that he was in the hospital, I was having darker thoughts than I normally do. And I was very worried that he wasn't going to make it. But I made a promise to myself, not if, but when he survived, that I would get a tattoo on my forearm to feed the good wolf in my mind, and also to remember to feed my dog, who is a husky. He looks like a wolf. I talked about him last night. And that was a very big thing for me in this story of, the two wolves. The grandfather's talking to his grandson. He says, inside each of us is a battle between two wolves. One wolf is is love, joy, passion, success. This is the good wolf. The other wolf is evil, malice, pain. This is the bad wolf. And the grandson says, which wolf wins? And the grandfather says, the one you feed. And so that's become the story that's, dictated a lot of my life. I bought the domain name. I own Feed the Wolf Dog as well, thinking I was going to have a pet food brand. But the idea of wolves fascinate me as well because they're one of the few animals that's very similar to humans. First off, one of the only other animals that kills each other. Pretty cool stuff that us humans and wolves do. The other thing we do that we have in common is that we're both pack animals. Wolves run in packs. Humans are supposed to operate in packs. And wolves live in packs because their cooperation together allows them to bring down larger prey. As humans, especially now, more than ever, we are more connected than we've ever been as a society. You can talk to people all across the world in seconds, but people feel more disconnected than they ever have. We live in apartment buildings and high-rises and neighborhoods where you don't know the person who lives next fucking door. Another cool thing about Boise, you actually get to know your neighbors and they tend to be nice people. But as humans, we become these lonely creatures, and our adventures online tend to be even more lonely. And then if you decide you want to write, another lonely endeavor. And so we end up not in a community, not feeling like we have people around us supporting us. And a lone wolf, and this is an interesting thing about wolves as well, is that if you have two wolf packs, let's say in Yellowstone, and one of these packs is starting to die off, they're starting to become weaker and weaker, the only chance a wolf has of surviving in that pack is to leave that pack, to become uncomfortable, to endure the pain of being a lone wolf, and to find their way to another pack, which is probably going to involve fights. It's going to involve near-death experiences. They're only going to be able to eat. A lone wolf eats small prey. They eat rabbits. They're never getting a bison. They're never taking down some big shit because they're alone. Even the strongest lone wolf will be taken down by a pack of mediocre wolves. But they have to get uncomfortable. And if you think about your own life and how we operate as humans, if you're in a pack of friends that aren't the right people to be around, if your community is not supporting you and making you better, then you have to fucking leave. And you gotta get uncomfortable and you have to become a lone wolf and find the right pack. The power of the wolf is not the wolf itself, it's the pack it belongs to. So we decided to create our own pack. That was the choice we made, Cam and I, and it's called the WolfPack. Pretty fitting name. And If you guys know Zach Galifianakis, The Hangover, the first one, kind of went downhill after that. You know, a lot of people think of themselves as a one-man WolfPack, but once he found Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms, you know, they were the three best friends anyone could have. Right? Anybody know the movie? That's what he keeps singing. So we decided to create our own WolfPack, and I want to say the reason that we decided to create this is very important for me to say. Cam and I talked a lot about this. If we're going to create a group of this sort, I don't want to do it just for money. I don't want to do it because this is what people do, right? You run events, then you create this group, and people give you money, and then they join for 1 year, and they typically fuck off afterwards. That's what I've done with most of the groups I've joined, because they don't actually really give a shit, and they don't track your success, and they don't hold you accountable. So you end up doing a year, you get some good stuff, and then you tend to leave. But we decided, so the only way we're doing this is if it's something we would pay to join. That's it. That was the biggest rule. So we are consumers, just like we are of this event. The reason I have Goff speaking, the reason I have Garrett speaking, the reason I have Coates speaking, is because I want to consume their information. We have a very simple goal. $100,000 a month in almost passive income. I said simple. I didn't say easy. But that's our goal by this time next year, and I guarantee we will do it because we're holding ourselves accountable. We're sharing everything we're doing within the WolfPack. And so I want to just go through what you guys will get when you get into the WolfPack. 3 of these API live events per year, $1,500 value. Would you guys like to be in a room like this again? Who's had a good experience so far? 3 VIP days. But yeah, I can't say that word. I messed that up. VIP. I turn Australian when I say VIP days. And so what we're going to do is very likely after this event, unless we decide to add a day, the VIP day that comes tomorrow will only be for people in the WolfPack. We just did it this way for the first event. And just so you guys do know about the VIP day, it's a coaching day. I'm not there to teach you more shit. You guys will have learned plenty yesterday and today. I want to work with you in a group setting, people coaching you, figuring out what the fuck you should do. So many people leave events with a notepad full of a bunch of shit that they never look at again, and they don't do something with it. You go back to life on Sunday, Monday, and you just go back to work and you forget to do the things you said you were going to do. So we want to create a plan. We want you to take action. We want you to take the action or the info you've learned today and implement it. To me, it's not VIP as in very important person. It's about implementation. Let's implement the shit that you've learned. Right? You get 1 call per week with Ian and Cam. The reason I put $100,000 value there is that I charge $2,000 an hour for consulting. Cam is very expensive as well. By the way, if you guys don't know what Cam has done, Cam and actually Nick Coates back here built a, $30 million per year business in a fucking year or some crazy shit? Yeah. So $30 million per year business, basically partnering with influencers, publishing them. Ironically, they didn't do much email marketing. It could have been a lot more than 30 million had they done the stuff that they now know. Cam is a genius, actually literally. And so Cam's legit. He knows his shit. We'll be there every week. We'll do a WolfPack weekly call. And this is, you want to submit questions, strategy. We're on the call with you on Zoom. You want to submit copy that you have. You want to ask a strategy question. One of the biggest things is the relationships and the people that we can connect you with. Most people are just one relationship away from whatever thing they want. It's not about doing more shit, it's about meeting the right person. Nick's going to be talking about influencers partnering and his, traffic and shit. The offer, or the thing that he's doing, Cam and I are going, why the fuck are we going to do this ourselves when we know Nick? And most people don't know Nick. They can't just go and text him. We can. So if you need Nick, not to just pimp out Nick right now, but talked about him on stage last night. Big Dick Nick? He is. 1 call, and actually I do want to say, I'll tell you that 1 call per month with an expert, so we're going to bring in somebody like a Nick, like a Garrett, like a Goff to come in and talk about something, somebody to talk about NFTs, to talk about crypto, to talk about BlockFi, to talk about these different opportunities of ways that you can create income separate from your business. When I say that we want to create $100,000 a month in almost passive income, that is not including our business income. Let me be clear about that. That is separate from our business, okay? 1 call per month with Lacey. So who thinks talking to Lacey would be helpful for you? Yeah. So instead of having to pay her $5,000 every single month, we will have a monthly call with her. This is a group call. I should have put the just so you know, but you can go and ask her one question. One question to Lacey could literally be worth like it was $60,000. You never know, right? A WolfPack Discord group. So we don't want to do a Facebook group. Facebook is, there's so many distractions on there that's not what we want. Discord is a very cool app that allows you to create a cool environment where we can talk, you can ask us questions. This is going to be a big focus for Cam and I. This will be the place where we are most responsive. The WolfPack accountability system, which I won't go into as much, but essentially, I'll explain that in a second, actually. And then access to our network, which I really do believe is priceless. Being able to ask Cam or I. Now look, I'm not gonna, if you're like, hey man, I need to talk to this guy so he'll promote my product that sucks. No. But if you have something great and you need to know somebody and you need a relationship with somebody, we will connect you with those people. Obviously also, we're not gonna let you into the WolfPack if you're, a sausage. Right, if you're just a silly sausage and you're a bit of a knob end, you're not getting in the WolfPack. You're probably not one of those people since you're in this room. But don't be a dick about it, but we'd love to introduce you to the right people. And as you guys have seen what happened to me in France, how much your life can change from meeting some of the right people, and how those people connect you to other people who you don't even know exist at this point, who can completely change your life. And then real-time investing opportunities, right? Had Cam put that $100,000 into Gala, he's like, I wouldn't even be here right now. I'm just fucking chilling, right? But these are the things that are important. We'll be sharing these things at each event, with the plans to do 3 events per year. But there's stuff where, hey, we're going to be we just invested in a bar, right? Actually, and again, because of Jimmy. Jimmy just gave me all the investment tips. You made me a lot of money this year, buddy. Thanks. But we invested in this bar, right? So Jimmy had a group that put money in. I put money in. Then Cam decided to put money in. Then he brought in Raj. Whitney's brother put money in. And so these are opportunities that are going to bring us money for a long time that if you're not involved in the group in real time, you obviously just can't get access to. And these are the things, this is what we're talking about, going from making money to becoming an investor, to becoming truly wealthy. I think when I think of somebody like Garrett, him and golf are separate to me from a lot of the people in the online industry that just make money because they understand wealth. They have investments. They have shit that makes them money whether they're working or not. Not everything they do is dependent upon, them buying traffic on YouTube or something like that. And this is my favorite part of what we're going to be doing, which is the WolfPack Week. This will be a 5-day event. What we're planning on doing, probably the first one will be at like Powder Mountain. And I really believe this is worth 15 grand on its own. Obviously, that's what I paid for France. That was a 3-day event. WolfPack Week will be 5 days. Our goal is to rent out part of Powder Mountain in the summer and do a full event where we all hang out for 5 days. First half of the day, we do business shit. Second half of the day, we have a lot of fun. A huge part of what I believe in and what I teach in Almost Passive Income's literally motto is make more money in less time while having more fun. A lot of grown-ups forget how to have fun. It's not like you're like, yeah, I just don't like fun anymore. Yeah, I just decided I was kind of over fun. No, it's because it's fucking beat out of us, and people have forgotten how to have fun. I'm proud to say that I have not forgotten how to have fun, and I'd like to involve you in the fun that I have. That will be a part of what we're doing. Get rich as fuck and have fun doing it. That should be our new motto. All of this shit, I did the math, $145,000, $500 worth of value. This is the infomercial moment. But wait, there's more. So how is the WolfPack different? One of the big things for me is it's about community, right? It's about people. One of the cool things about doing weird-ass meditations with people, they tend to be cooler people than just some, dildos that want to I want to build an Amazon store with a product from China. I'm going to sell toothbrushes that don't work. Like, how does the toothbrush not work? Like, they just break. We don't want shitty people. And one of the big differences, what we're going to do is hold you accountable. If you fail, the pack fails. And we're willing to do the math to ensure that. So when I say that, what do I mean? I mean that we want to get your current income when you join the group, your current hours worked per week, and your current almost passive income. I will say I have joined, 7 or 8 different groups. Not one fucking group has ever asked me where I'm at when I started. Not one of them has taken a real interest in where I'm at when I joined, which is also fucking stupid because then they could have shown where I got to. But I want to show you, I want to actually look, and Cam and I are going to be very open with the group, sharing what we're doing, what we're putting our money in, where we're at. This is a big part of the accountability for myself and for Cam. I'm going to hit that fucking goal. I guarantee you that. In that group, there is zero chance I am going to announce this to you guys and not do that thing. And I will hold you to the same standard. Our goal, this is our goal, and of course if you don't do anything, then this shit's not going to happen. But our goal is to help you 2 to 5x your income and create at least $10,000 per month in almost passive income. Who here would enjoy that result in their life? And reduce your hours worked by 25%, if that's what you want. Some of you are like, I hustle, I grind, I fucking hate sleeping. That's not me. Number one smart drug, sleep. I actually believe that doubling your income is quite easy. This may sound borderline arrogant, but I will tell you that because of the experiences I've had, the different businesses I've run, the things I've done, Cam's experiences, I don't think this is very difficult. I've done this every single year for the last 5 years. I've doubled my income. And when I can come into your business and tell you something, it might completely change things. So Mr. Brains, if you wouldn't mind just saying what happened when you came to my house a couple months ago, from that one sentence of that one idea that I gave you, what happened?
You say doubling? No. All right, so Ian said, hey, come to my house. I was like, okay, cool. So my wife and I said, we're going to go to your house. And I said, save me the king bed. And he said, okay, you got it. You're the biggest guy there. So I'm like, all right. So he sold me on that. I'm like, I got my own room. I'm good. So not everybody else had their own room, but I did. So I showed up, and, I like Ian. And I met Ian, on the unit last February. So
and what were you doing when you joined the unit? Where were you guys at when you...
We were just starting our recurring revenue business. We were just on the verge of, I think we were like 8 or 9 webinars in. Like we were just kind of...
You had made like $1,000, $2,000, something like that.
Yeah, it was low. It was low.
Yeah.
And I did I gave it a shot. I said, okay, let's do this unit. So first call, he tells me one little thing about, nobody cares about you, Jen. They care about what people do with your system. And we're like, oh, crap. So we took all the crap off Jen. And, my wife's an artist, by the way. So we teach art classes online. She's one of the
Literally,
top
his business is going to blow your mind when he tells you these numbers. They teach old women how to paint.
Yeah.
That's the business. Not an oversimplification.
My wife's she's one of the top artists in the United States, and COVID hit, so we pivoted to online classes, and we're just like, who wants to do this? We'll see. And we literally teach, old ladies. We're like Netflix for old ladies, and they love her. So, but we had a hard time getting, figuring out who that person was and what it was. So Ian helped us with that. But here's the killer part: is that just through a simple call on 1 week for an hour, learning from other people on that call, and then him saying, change this one thing about how you're positioning yourself. Boom, it was like almost like a 4x return on our next 2 webinars that blew up. We're like, okay, now we're showing what other people do, not what we do. Great. Next thing he says, oh, change that picture so you're looking at the button and not away. Like a 9% increase in our registrations. I'm like, okay, cool. Everything that we basically went in there and did, he kind of tweaked it and did weird little things, and it kept working. So when he said, come to my house for $5,000 and hang out with me for 2 days, I'm like, okay, let's try this. So we hung out, we watched the soccer game, we had some great meals, we did some meditations that really dug deep, and we just had a good time. And then we had, we had these times we sat on the couches, and it was, me and Sean and
Rook, just before this part, he gets to, so they went from making a couple $1,000s to about $25,000 a month. Again, teaching old ladies how to paint.
Yes.
Gets to $60,000 a month, teaching old ladies how to paint. Comes to the house, we're sitting on the couch, and then this happens.
So we're kind of talking about, we had a couple dabblers. We call them dabblers. It's called Let's Dabble. So, it's not like a school or an academy. These are older ladies that want to just dabble. And so they dabble. And Ian's like, talking about our business. And I said, hey, I had a couple dabblers die recently. He's like, ooh. And so we had like a death time value, like a real value. I'm like, okay.
So lifetime value, that's death time value.
Our churn, is kind of appearing like that. And, COVID's kind of ending for a lot, just opening up. And so they wanted to, and so he's like, what if you did like a lifetime offer? And I was like, And he says, I know you'll do it, because whenever he tells me something, I implement it.
He does it immediately. It's crazy. Like that, the next morning, he's like, yeah, I already did all the stuff you said. I'm like, what? It's been like 2 hours. He's like, yeah.
Action takers are money makers. They really are. I mean, you take action, you get things done, you make things happen, and you create your own luck. So I said, let's try lifetime value. So we did. And we put it out there. I thought maybe 20, 30 of these people would take it, maybe. We struck a chord with our group because of, and we ended up selling 310 of our dabblers on $1,305 each. We made $400,000 on one day. It was...
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I haven't done that.
They thanked me. They said, thank you for taking away my worries of recurring this and recurring that, because they really wanted to be part of this group. And they buy all the other stuff that we have for them. They buy our supplement courses. They buy our card course. They buy that. They just didn't want to have to pay the dues of being part of it. So he saw what we were dealing with. He kind of saw our unique situation with this age group and said, try it. And then we did, and it was a huge.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Round of applause for Matt Brains, guys. So the reason I had him tell that story is because we're talking about one thing, and this is the same thing for me, even just because I know a lot of things. In my own business, I don't always do them. We tend to treat our business worse than other people's, right? And so I told this to Matt. He goes, and he was all sneaky with his text. He's like, by the way, I made 80 times my investment back from what you did. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'm like, what? No, you won't. You're going to tell me right now, 80x? I'm like, I'm doing the math. I'm like, I was like, did you make 400? He goes, I made $400,000 in a day. In a day, he goes, I don't know what the fuck to do. What do you do when you make he's been making 60 grand a month at the highest point, 400,000 in a day. I know that's a crazy story, but when you get the right information, it's not as crazy as it seems. So why did we create this group? Freedom is what it comes down to, right? It's for people who want freedom. And so what I'm gonna do is just go through this part now. This is the, price drop of all the fun stuff. How much is the investment? Most of these groups are $25,000 to $50,000 per year. Again, I've joined a group that's $100,000 a year. This is not an exaggeration. This is how this industry tends to work, but we're not like the rest of the industry. Our plan is genuinely to make this $25,000 in the future. That is very real. That is not me doing some scarcity bullshit. That's the truth. But since this is the first event, and you'll become a founding member of the WolfPack, it's $15,000. Now, there's one more little piece here, which is, and by the way, I know for a fact what is going to happen after this is Justin Goff is going to come up to me, and he is going to say, you are charging way too little. He does this to me all the time. I know for a fact he's going to tell me that we are not charging enough, and I agree. But because this is the first group, I'm willing to do that to put our first people into the WolfPack. So, big but, while you're here, it's $12,000 till the end of today. This isn't some high-pressure sales shit. If you don't think it's right for you, then it's not. That's just the truth. I'm not going to push anybody into this. If you don't want to be in the WolfPack, if you don't feel really fucking excited about it, then it's not for you. That's the reality. But it's $12,000 till the end of today. We don't want to deal with getting a bunch of people in over the next few days and dealing with this shit months from now. You can join later for $15,000. That's you're allowed to do that. For the $12,000, you can do it for just $1,000 per month. If you want to pay quarterly, it's $2,750 per quarter, which is only $11,000 total. Or if you're really committed, we're going to reward you for your willingness to take action, and it's just $10,000 if you pay in full, which means you save $5,000. And this is the last thing that I want to say about this. Yeah, I'm not going to fucking hard pressure you guys. It's not my style. It's not how I want to do things. I don't want people who are half-hearted about going into this. That's not what I want. I paid $15,000 for a 3-day event in France, right? We are giving away way too much for this whole thing, but that's fine because you're the first group to be in it. But the last thing I just want to say is this. I'm not going to fucking lose. I fucking hate losing. I told you that I'll be at $100,000 a month in almost passive income by this time next year, and I guarantee that that will be the case. So the choice that you get to make is, do you want to go along for the ride or not?